Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. So let's get started guys. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see those topics from mains and as well as prelims point of view, and I'll let you know how UPSC can ask questions in both prelims and as well as mains point of view from that area. And at last I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand how questions can be asked from that topic is. Okay, the first topic is Union government sets aside rupees 95,962 crore for VBG Ramji. So here you have to know about what is this VBG Ramji, and in 2027 prelims there will be a short question on this VBG Ramji, and this topic is important from GS paper 2 under governance. And next topic is Pink Saheli cards for free bus travel prove elusive for Delhi's trans persons. So actually Delhi government came up with this free bus scheme for women and as well as transgenders, and they will provide cards called as Pink Saheli cards. Actually, whenever you study about this society and as well as social justice point of view, you will have this topic of vulnerable sections of society. In that, one vulnerable section here is women and next one is transgender. For that, government will be providing lots of schemes. From that area, you can see this topic. And next topic is Indian cormorants. There is one bird species which is seen in news, and the name of that bird is Indian cormorants. Here you have to know about some facts regarding that. And next topic is New and Raw. There are many articles in our newspaper which talks about India-Nepal relations. Here you have to know about this India-Nepal relations and what are the issues between India and Nepal relations, why this India and Nepal relations is again in news. You have to see all those things, and it is important from international relations from GS paper 2 guys. Okay, now let us see one by one in detail. Read this title guys. Title says Union government set aside so and so amount of fund for VBG Ramji. Keyword here is VBG Ramji. Okay, first of all, whenever you are seeing any scheme, actually it is one important scheme of Government of India. Okay, to understand this, you need to know some background. And next you have to see full form of this VBG Ramji. And next you have to see what are the features of this scheme. And next you have to see what are the advantages of the scheme and what are the challenges. And you have to think about what is the way forward. Okay. So now I'll let you know some important facts and background. I think you might have heard about MG Narega scheme, right? Okay. First of all, you have to know the basics of this MG Narega. Then we'll come to this what is this VBG Ramji, and let us discuss in detail about that VBG Ramji. So actually, Government of India launched this MG Narega scheme in our country in 2005. And the full form of this scheme is MG means Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Full form of this Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Under this scheme, what government is providing is 100 days of employment. Government is providing 100 days of employment in which areas? Rural areas. In rural areas, government is providing 100 days of employment. I think in Telugu, I think you might have heard about this Karu Pani. Normally, government will be providing this Karu Pani, and that government will be providing 100 days of guarantee employment for people in the rural areas, and that includes unskilled labor like planting of trees, restoration of lakes, ponds. They will do this kind of activities in the villages under this MG Narega scheme. Okay, now recently in 2026, government replaced this MG Narega with this VBG Ramji. Okay, and this is also focusing on same thing, rural employment only. And it is also providing employment for unskilled labor in rural areas. But there are some differences. You have to know what exactly the difference between earlier MG Narega scheme and this VBG Ramji scheme. Okay, now let us try to write the differences so that you can understand exactly what it is. MG Narega on one side, VBG Ramji on another side. First difference is you have to know what is the full form of it. So here Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, and it came up by the government in year 2005. And here what is the full form of this VBG Ramji? So please make a note guys. It is Viksit Bharat. VB means Viksit Bharat. G Ramji, Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin. Please make a note. VBG Ramji full form is Viksit Bharat, Guarantee for Rozgar, and Ajivika Mission. And Ajivika Mission Gramin. Gramin means rural. Okay, so this is the full form of this VBG Ramji. And as I said, under this MG Narega, how many days of employment will be provided? 100 days of guarantee employment will be provided. Here we have 100 days of employment, but here, yes, 125. So number had been increased in this new scheme. And next one is earlier it is central sector scheme. Whenever you study about the schemes of government, we have two types of schemes. One is central sector, next one is central sponsored scheme. What is the meaning of central sector? Whatever the funds which is required for implementation of that scheme, entirely given by central government. We have central government, we have state government, right? So 100% of funds for implementation of that scheme will be provided by central government under central sector scheme. But what happens in the central sponsored scheme? Here we have central government and we have state government. So both will share the funds. Central government will be sponsoring some amount only. It will not provide complete funds. That is the meaning of centrally sponsored scheme, and this is the question in 2019 prelims. Okay, so here MG Narega scheme is central sector scheme. That is 100% funds will be given by central government. But now whatever the new scheme came up by the government, now state has to bear some amount. Central government will be giving some amount. And next one here is normally in rural, actually the scheme is in rural areas. In rural areas, what is the primary activity? Farming or agriculture, right? That means in some seasons they will be having work. In some seasons they won't have work, especially during this transplantation time, harvesting time. Okay, at that time they will have work. So at that time they will take, this scheme will be like stopped in that certain time where we are going to have the work. But this is not in that case. They will continue even whenever the work is available in that area. And next important one here is ministry. Which ministry is implementing this scheme? It is talking about rural employment. So Ministry of Rural Development will be implementing this scheme. Please make a note, Ministry of Rural Development. Ministry of Rural Development. So if UPSC is asking any questions on scheme, they will focus on for sure ministry guys. Okay, how they will give the question? Consider the following statements regarding VBG Ramji, and they will give you 2 to 3 statements. In that, one will be for sure ministry, implemented by Ministry of Urban Affairs, implemented by Ministry of Finance, implemented by Ministry of Agriculture. Like that, it will be very easy for them to change ministry. So for sure that ministry will be wrong. Here you have to remember, Ministry of Rural Development will be implementing this scheme. And they will change this number also. Instead of 100 days, they may give 150 days, 170 days, 200 days or 90 days. You have to remember the number. Earlier it was 100, now it is 125. Okay? Yes. Now let us see in detail about this VBG Ramji. The main objective of this scheme is to provide guarantee of wage employment for whom? for rural houses. It is not at all applied in urban areas. Only this scheme will be focusing on rural areas. Why they are focusing on rural areas? What is the reason? In rural areas, primary activity is agriculture, and agriculture will not provide employment 365 days. If they are not getting employment opportunities, will they stay in rural areas? No, they will try to migrate to nearby towns or urban areas. So because of this, what happens? There will be increased pressure on urban areas. That will lead to improper development of urban areas. That will cause a havoc, right? So for that reason, government wants to create employment in rural areas. And not only that, if we want to get the status of Viksit Bharat, that is nothing but developed country status, even we have to develop our rural areas also. If you're developing only urban areas, do we get that status? No. So through this scheme, we are also going to create assets in our rural areas like good roads, plantations, green cover, restoration of lakes and ponds, and building of water tanks, building of primary healthcare centers, building of schools. In that way, we are also going to create assets in our rural areas. Okay, and what is the vision of this? The vision here is we have to focus on local development also, local area development with national priority. That means, normally agriculture will be done in this rural areas, and from there the harvest we have to supply to different parts of our country. Then only we can ensure food security. For that reason, we need to have good logistics. They are also focusing on improving of road development under this scheme. Okay. Okay, this new scheme is going to replace our earlier MG Narega scheme of 2005. And next, how many days of guaranteed employment they are giving? Earlier it is 100, now it is 125 days. And even changing of funding. Earlier it is central sector 100% given by central government, but now it changed it to centrally sponsored. So now central government will be giving 60% of funds, and remaining 40% of funds should be bear by state government. And now you guys tell me what are the benefits of this scheme. First one is we can create employment opportunities in rural areas. That is the first advantage. And next one here is, here in this new scheme, every week they are going to get the payments. Earlier they used to get 15 days or 1 month. They used to be like delayed payments. But now they are focusing on faster wage payments, that too based on every week. And next one is they are also going to support agriculture. Why? Because whenever people are getting proper employment opportunities in this agriculture period, especially like Kharif and Rabi season, you know that, right? Kharif season and Rabi season, where they have to work in their fields in the time of transplantation, sowing, and as well as harvesting. At that time, we are going to pause this public works up to 60 days. Okay. And this one is we are also focusing on water security. So how we are focusing on water security? In this scheme, we are going for restoration of ponds, restoration of lakes, and even we are focusing on proper irrigation facilities. So that what happened overall, we are focusing on ensuring of water security in this village areas. And even we are incorporating technology also. So which kind of technology we are incorporating? So if some people are going to this work, so they have to give attendance. Whenever we are giving attendance, then only we'll get our wages, right? So for that, they are integrating different mobile apps and also biometric authentication. You know this fingerprint, right? So like that, they are also including technology as part of this scheme. So these are the advantages of this scheme. And now you have to see what are the issues and challenges related to this scheme. The first one here is, earlier central government used to give funds, but now state government also has to bond like 40% of funds. That means already state government is having less resources, less funds. Again they have to spend 40% here. That means there will be increasing on physical burden, that is money related burden on state government. That is the first important challenge. Yes or no? And next one is, there will be centralization of power. Central government is going to determine how much funds they have to allocate to this scheme. So here, even though state government is bearing 40%, state government is not having the authority to decide funds. So none of the funds will be decided by central government. So there is centralization of central government or central power. And next one here is, as this scheme says that if there is agriculture work is going on, they are going to pause 60 days of work. They are going to stop this work for the 60 days. Then what happens? So we are also having landless laborers in this villages. They are called as tenants. So these tenants, they will not get proper work in the 60 days of pause of this scheme. So these are the major challenges related to this scheme. So you know how UPSC can give question in prelims, like consider the following statements regarding this VBG Ramji, and they'll give you statements and they may ask you to identify correct or incorrect. And in mains, how can they give the question? Recently, VBG Ramji replaced MG Narega in 2005. In the light of the statements, what are the advantages of new scheme over old scheme? And discuss challenges. Suggest measures. Like that, UPSC can give you mains based question. So for that reason, what you have to know exactly difference between earlier older scheme and newer scheme, and you have to see advantages. I said you have to see challenges, and now your work is what kind of measures we can take to overcome these challenges. Okay, you have to think on these lines. Clear? Okay, now let us see the next article. See this, guys. Pink Saheli cards for free bus travel prove elusive for Delhi trans persons. Where exactly you can use this article is in your GS1 and GS2. We have society part and social issues. So if you take our society, which is very diverse, we have male, we have female, yes, and we have transgenders, we have elderly people, we have children, we have vulnerable sections like SC, ST, yes. So here in your social justice subject, you will be seeing about what exactly the problems faced by this sections of society. And you know that if anything happens wrong, who will be more vulnerable? Elderly people are more vulnerable, women are more vulnerable, children are vulnerable, and SC, ST caste people are vulnerable. So here this article is saying that yes, Delhi government came up with a scheme and it launched this scheme in the month of March. And what is that scheme? It is providing free bus services. So normally, you know, even in state of Telangana, Karnataka also, government is providing free bus for women. For that, what you have to carry? You have to carry just your Aadhaar card. If you are carrying your Aadhaar card, if you show your Aadhaar card to the conductor, they will allow you to travel freely. But here, related to Delhi, they are providing cards called as Pink Saheli cards. They are providing Pink Saheli cards. They are not allowing this Aadhaar cards. So they are providing Pink Saheli cards, and these cards will be given for women and as well as transgenders, and they can travel free in this metro buses of Delhi. That is the scheme. But what is the problem here is, women, they are easily getting these cards, but transgender people, they are not getting these cards. Despite Delhi government clearly said that these cards will be given for women and transgender, these authorities are giving these cards for women, but they are ignoring these transgenders. So because of this, what is happening? Injustice is happening or not? There is a discrimination of this transgender is happening or not? So that is about this article, guys. So how UPSC can ask you a question? Come on, guess in your mains. You may not get any question in prelims for sure, but in mains you may get a question. Transgender people are also part of our society. Discuss the challenges faced by transgenders. Suggest some measures taken by the government so far to empower transgenders. Is it a possible question? Yes, already UPSC asked many a times questions on these transgenders, because nowadays governments, different states governments are coming forward to provide certain empowerment for these transgenders. If you take Telangana state, recently in this traffic police, many transgenders had been recruited. I don't know whether you know this or not. And even many cases, there is one more gender which had been included in the forms. Earlier we used to have only male or female, but now even transgender is also clearly written in different consent forms, different forms wherever. So here government is trying to include this transgenders also as part of our society. And even recently related to this transgender, Supreme Court gave a judgment related to identification of who is a transgender or not. So like that, government and judiciary, they are taking lot of steps for empowering this transgenders. So because of this, in 2026 or 2027, you may get a short question on this transgender in your mains. Okay, so if you are getting that kind of questions, how can you use this article? Recently, Delhi government took some step for empowerment of transgenders through Pink Saheli cards. Are you understanding? In this way, you can give an example. Are you understanding? So, whatever the titles you read in your newspaper, sometimes UPSC cannot give directly question on it, but you can use that articles, titles, especially for using for value addition or giving examples. Are you understanding? So, in this way, you have to prepare. Okay, now let us see this article. Delhi government launched Saheli Smart Card scheme on 2nd March, and it is going to provide free and unlimited travel on Delhi Transport Corporation and even cluster buses for whom? Transgenders and as well as women. For women and transgenders, they are providing free and unlimited transport for this women and as well as transgender persons. Okay, but what is the problem here is now transgender people, they are not getting these cards. So what are the challenges faced by the transgenders here? You have to make a note of that. On this, UPSC can ask you a question. What are the challenges faced by transgender persons in our society? So first one here is, now in this case, related to this Delhi transport system, there is lack of staff sensitization and training. So even though government gave the clear-cut guidelines that this card should be issued for women and transgenders, so whoever the staff who are providing this, they are not showing sensitization towards this transgenders. And even there is no proper training for the staff how to behave with the passengers. And next one here is technical and administrative gaps are also there. So whatever digital systems and databases they are using, they had not updated to handle inclusive gender options. That means normally gender means we have female and male, many in maximum offices. So even in this Delhi also, whatever the database they are using in this Delhi transport system, they had not updated related to this transgender. So because of these reasons, that staff cannot provide this cards to this transgenders. This is mistake in their website and database itself. They are not updating this. And next important problem here is inconsistent communication of guidelines. Instructions do not reach all centers. Delhi government announced that, but those instructions has to reach to every center. No, even transgenders, they are eligible to get this card. So instructions did not reach this offices. That is one more problem. And next one is there is no proper documentation and recognition hurdles also. There is no proper gender markers, there is no proper official IDs for these transgenders. So because of all these reasons, now these transgenders are facing problem in this Delhi to get this Pink Saheli cards, guys. Okay, and see this image. What can you see here? A fish. Not swan exactly. Swan will be in white in color, no? Black swan. It is not exactly swan. Swan will be having very long neck. Actually, the name of this bird species is Indian cormorants. And actually, can you find something strange in this image? Every bird in their beak, they are having fish. Can you see this? Fish, 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 fish. Can you see this fish? Yes? Is that strange? Actually, these birds, this flock of birds called as Indian cormorants, they hunt in a remarkable coordination. Their hunting phenomena is different. And they what they do is they work together to hurt fish before capturing their prey. So as you all know that whenever, have you seen how this fish moves? If you see small fishes, if you have gone to nearby some water stream or like some pond or like small lake, so if you see the ends of this water, you can see the group of fishes will be moving. Only the group of fishes, not a single fish. The group will be moving. So what this bird will do here is they will try to make this hurt. Will be trapped between these birds, and everyone will try to catch that fish. So they will fish together. So this kind of survival mechanisms will be there for different type of animals. Some will be hunting individually, some will be hunting like in groups. So for survival, they will have their own mechanism, and this Indian cormorants will hunt together, and they will try to herd a fish, and they capture the herd of fish, and they will try to hunt the fish. So in that way, they will survive. Okay, if you see some facts regarding this, before saying the facts, how UPSC can ask you a question. Consider the following statements regarding Indian cormorant, and they'll give you 2 to 3 statements, and they will ask you to identify which of the above statements are correct or incorrect. So it is part of your environment and ecology. Every year UPSC asks minimum 2 questions related to this. Animal species or plant species, or if there is any newly identified animal or plant which is in use, UPSC has a tendency to ask a question on it. And you have to make a note and you have to remember. So you have to remember at least 40 to 50 species of animals and plants. Okay. If you see this facts, Indian cormorant is also known as Indian shark. Please make a note. Indian cormorant is called as Indian shark, and it is a water bird. It is seen commonly in freshwater wetlands, not in saline water. It is one characteristic of this bird. Only it can be seen in freshwater wetlands. Only seen in freshwater wetlands. So please make a note, guys, online students. And next, if you see the habitats, it is seen in inland water wetlands, inland lakes, reservoirs and estuaries. So normally they are seen only in the freshwater areas, and it is seen not only in India, even Sri Lanka also we can see this bird, and even Thailand and Cambodia also we can see. So whenever UPSC gives the statements, it will say that it is seen only in India. So like that, if you see only word in environment, mostly 99.99% it will be wrong statement. It is seen not only in India, it can be seen in Sri Lanka, it can be seen in Thailand and as well as Cambodia, guys. Okay, if you see about conservation status and ecology, in IUCN Red List, they are listed under least concern. Least concern means there is no need to worry about this bird species. We have huge number of these birds. And they are listed under Schedule 4 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And next, if you see about what is the role of this bird, it acts as top predators in aquatic food webs. So if you see, if there is a good number of this bird in so and so area, we can say that that area is like less polluted, it is very healthy, and it is having good good like fresh water. Like that we can identify the health of that water system. And not only that, whatever the droppings which had been done by this birds in that water will be acting as a vital nutrients for entire that wetland. Okay, so like that it plays a very important role in balancing the number of fishes, and even the droppings of this bird will provides nutrients. Okay, so this is about this topic.
What is the name of Indian shark in Thailand?
No, they won't ask like that. Okay, see this. There are 2 to 3 articles related to India-Nepal relations. So I took 2 articles here. So first one, it is from editorial. It says that new and raw, Nepal and India must avoid misspeaking on border issues. This is one article. And next article is a new phase in India-Nepal relations. Okay, first of all, where is this Nepal? Where is this Nepal? Are we sharing boundary with Nepal? Yes. Tell me guys, with which countries we are sharing boundary with? Okay, here we have Pakistan, Afghanistan, this is Nepal, China, here which country we have Bhutan, Bangladesh, and here Myanmar. So these are the countries with which we are sharing boundary, right? And actually, there was a question in 2026 UPSC prelims. The question is, UP is sharing largest boundary. Okay, Rajasthan is sharing, like that they asked question. So you have to see in deep related to our India map case. Exactly, you have to know states, where they are, exact location of the states. And next one is you have to see this international borders. International border is nothing but which states are sharing boundary with this Pakistan, which states are sharing boundary with Nepal, which states are sharing boundary with China, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and you have to see which state is also sharing the longest border. Okay, UPSC asked question in 2026 related to that. Rajasthan is sharing the largest border, and Sikkim is the only country which is sharing border with only one state of our country. So like that they gave some statements, and you have to be thorough with this India and political map case and try to practice map for sure, because in your answers you have to draw map for sure. If you are writing any answer related to geography or international relations or environment and ecology, you need to draw map of India and you have to practice map. Okay, yeah, now let us see here. India and Nepal, we are sharing border. Whenever we are sharing border, obviously we will be getting border dispute. Related to India and Pakistan, what is the dispute? Pakistan is claiming entire Jammu and Kashmir. Yes. And related to China also, China is claiming entire Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh is ours. And even we have dispute at middle sector. Okay. You're new, no? So if you see this India and China border, here we have LAC, line between India and China. At the northern part is LAC, line of actual control. So this is also one disputed area between India and China. And here also in this region also, that is middle sector, it's especially this Uttarakhand region. Again, India and China are having disputes. And again, this is our eastern sector. Entire China is claiming this Arunachal Pradesh. And if you see about Pakistan, here we have LOC region, that is line of control, and again this region is under control of Pakistan, that is called as Pak occupied Kashmir. So now there are lots of issues are going in this Pak occupied Kashmir also. Okay, so if we get articles related to that, we will be discussing about that issue clearly. But in yesterday's news, entire this Pak occupied Kashmir is in news. Okay, and if you see here we have Nepal, right? So here also we are having issues with India and Nepal. So to understand this, again you have to go to history around 1800s, and we have to see what is the history between India and Nepal relations. As you all know that in modern time, in modern history, India was under rule of whom? Britishers. Clear? India was under rule of Britishers during this modern period. At that time, Nepal and British India made one treaty. Treaty is nothing but agreement. So the name of that agreement is Treaty of Sugali. Mostly it is in 1816. So in this 1816, India and at that time British India, India was under control of British. So India and Britishers signed this Treaty of Sugali. And what they said is, India and Nepal border will be one river, and the name of river is River Kali. Okay, so according to this Treaty of Sugali, they said that India and Nepal border will be, that is River Kali. And River Kali is a Himalayan river. Yes, here what we have? Himalayas. So this is example of one Himalayan river. As you all know that Himalayan rivers are very fast flowing rivers. Yes, and if they are moving at a very high speed, what they'll do? they will carry more sediments. What are the sediments? Whenever you see the floods, whenever the water is coming, they will bring lots of unwanted things, right? Sediments. So here, whenever this river is moving at a very fast pace, it will bring lots of sediments. What happens if the river is getting more and more sediments? It will be obviously deposited on the both the sides of the flow of river. If sediments are more, what happen? It will change the course of river. Earlier it used to move in that direction, but it brought all the sediments. So because of that, it cannot move in that direction. It will be changing the direction. So the major problem with this Himalayan rivers is it will change the direction of flow. Because of that only, I think you might have heard river Kosi is sorrow of Bihar. Okay, sorrow of Bengal. Okay, have you heard these words? Why? Because majorly these rivers, they will change the course because of bringing of more sediments. So at that time of 1816, British and Nepal, they signed this treaty and they said that this Kali river is the boundary between India and Nepal. Okay, but what is the problem here is it is a Himalayan river. It changed the course. Because of changing of course, what happens? For example, let us take this is area, guys. It is flowing like this initially. Initially, we thought this is boundary. Then what happened after some time? So this course had been like this. Means this part will be going into one country. This part is getting into one country. Yes. For example, let us take after some years it flowed like this. Means entirely this part will be coming under this country. It is losing this, right? So because of this change of flow of river Kali, we are having dispute. And especially the changing of this course will be happening at these three areas. What are those three areas? First one is Lipu Lake. Second one is Limpiadura. You have to remember these names. And third one is Kala Pani. So normally this change of course of river happens at these three areas called as Lipu Lake, Limpiadura and Kala Pani. So these are the disputed areas between India and Nepal. Okay, so this is the story, guys. And now recently what happened, you know, in Nepal protest happened, Gen Z protested and the removal of government happened. After that newly elections were conducted and now new dynamic person became Prime Minister of Nepal. And he made one statement. It is controversial statement actually. What he said is, not only India encroached Nepal, even Nepal encroached Indian land. Okay, so that is a statement he made. And now we are going to have a meeting between India and Nepal, and in this meeting we are going to discuss about this border issue. Because of this, these articles are there in news. Are you understanding? So this is the story. And now if you see this title, it says that new and raw, Nepal and India must avoid misspeaking on border issues. Whatever the statement made by this Nepal Prime Minister is not accepted by the people of Nepal. How a Prime Minister can say that yes, we encroached another country? Yes. If Prime Minister Narendra Modi make that statement, will we accept that? In the same way, Nepal people are not accepting that. So in this meet, so we should not misspeak. We have to sit properly and we have to talk and we have to come up with a dialogue and we have to resolve this issue as peacefully as possible. That is this article's gist. Are you understanding? That is the thing here. Okay, now let us see this article clearly. Okay, so recently Nepal Prime Minister, his name is Balendra Shah, stated that Nepal too has encroached upon Indian territory. Okay, and now we are going to have talks to resolve this dispute between India and Nepal border. So what are the disputed areas? I said three areas: Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpiadura. What is the reason for this dispute? Because of change of course of which river? River Kali. You can remember like that, Kali, Kalapani. Okay. And next one here is, if you see what is the issue from where it had been started. During this Britishers' time, British India and Nepal signed one treaty called as Treaty of Sugali in 1816. What it said? River Kali, and this name, other names of River Kali is River Mahakali and River Sharda. They are other names. So this is the border between India and Nepal. The problem where it had been arised because of change of course of river. Okay, and okay, now you have to see some basic facts. So once this meeting held, then we'll get lot of articles like what Nepal said, what India said. So whether we are going to resolve that dispute or not, what are the terms and conditions, all we'll get after our meeting. But as of now, what you have to see is what are the connectivity relating, what are the projects through which we are connecting Nepal. Because in 2026, there is a question on this Meechi Bridge. So the question was in this way, consider the following bridges between India and its neighborhood. They gave about Maitri Setu, they gave about one name, I can't recall that name, that is the second one, and third one it is about Mechi Bridge. In all those three statements, this Mechi Bridge statement is only right. Okay, like that, whenever you are studying about India and other country relations, you have to know what are the projects which had been signed between India and that country also. Okay, so if you see about India and Nepal connectivity, India launched a bridge and the name of that bridge is Mechi Bridge. It is connecting India from West Bengal to Kakarbita in Nepal. So just remember that Mechi Bridge, it is between India and Nepal. And next one here is, for petroleum transport, we came up with this petroleum pipeline. The name of that is Motihari Amalganj, and it is South Asia's first petroleum pipeline. And this one is, recently one railway had been proposed between India and Nepal, and the name of that is Rahul Kathmandu Railway. Okay, you have to see, we have petroleum pipeline linkage, we have a bridge, and we are going to have even railway between India and Nepal. So where you can use this? Whenever you are writing about any answer, actually you will get at least 3 questions from international relations, as I said. If there is any question related to India and Nepal relations, the question can go in this way. Recently, Nepal Prime Minister made a controversial statement regarding border. In the light of this statement, how India is improving connectivity with Nepal. If you are getting that kind of question related to connectivity, obviously you can use this as value addition in your answer. You have to know about that. So your work now is, you have to try to make a list of connectivity projects between India and Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, India, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, India, Bhutan, like that. So if you are making that, then you can write a very good answer in your international relations. And UPSC also has tendency to ask this kind of questions in prelims also. You will be like ahead compared to that of other students. Okay, you have to make notes in this way. So because of this, the final I want to say one thing is how you have to prepare, how you have to make notes. Who will tell? UPSC PYQs will tell everything, guys. If you follow them religiously, obviously you will be in a right direction. Yes? Okay, and next, if you see with other countries, how we are improving our relations or through or which kind of projects we had. So this is also there in that paper, Maitri Setu. Maitri Setu, it is between India and Bangladesh. It is the first statement is given in that question. And this one is Kaladan project. It is between India and Myanmar. And even between India and Myanmar, we have Thailand Trilateral Highway. So there are 2 questions in 2026 prelims related to this. One question is like statement based question, and second one is consider the following, and they gave Kaladan project, India, Myanmar, trilateral highway, and one more, and they asked which of the above between so and so country. So like that, UPSC asked 2 questions in this 2026 prelims only. Okay, so you have to see that kind of things also. Okay, now let us see the prelims questions. Answer these questions, guys, and you have to answer now. Consider the following statements regarding VBG Ramji. See carefully. First one is it aims to replace MG Narega. Second one is it guarantees 125 days of wage employment to rural households. And next one is it is implemented by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And next one is it focuses on livelihood security and rural infrastructure creation. What about first one? Replacing engineering or not? Yes. 125 days, yes or no? And next, Ministry of Housing or not? It is Ministry of Rural Development. I said ministry will be for sure wrong. And next, livelihood, yes. And rural infrastructure, yes. Answer is 1, 2 and 4. You can eliminate this. Third. And fourth is for sure, it is right. So, in that way, you have to eliminate options. Okay. See this next one, guys. Territories frequently associated with India-Nepal boundary dispute are Kala Pani, Lip Lake, Limpiatura, Doklam. Kala Pani is there, Lip Lake is there, Limpiadura is there. So actually this Doklam is present at India, Bhutan and China border. It is not at Nepal. Actually, Doklam issue was in news in 2017. So again, one more story that will be discussed in your international relations classes by Sandeep sir clearly about what is the issue between India and China, what happened. Okay. So this Doklam, it is between India, Bhutan and China, not Nepal. We can eliminate this 4. Answer is 1, 2 and 3. So these are the 3 that I asked you to note down also. So those are 3 guys. In that way, you will be getting your prelims question. You have to be sharp. Okay. That's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you have not yet been subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe guys so that you can understand current affairs as per UPSC format. And if you want to start your preparation, you can join our GS Prelims Cum Mains Foundation course. And we are providing both on online and offline. And if you have any queries, please do contact us on this number 8074765551. And I wish you all the best.